You're looking at 6 players that I think you should buy low walking into week 2. Guys that are very, very undervalued and all the risk is baked into their current cost of entry, not their old draft value. These guys have all declined in draft value since draft day. They are bargains right now, some more than others. We're going to break down all 6 of these players and more. The fantasy, you know what? Scratch that. We don't do 6. We don't do light work around here. Let's add 2 or 3 more, at least big name players at the end of the video. The Fantasy Football Show.
It begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty. Take a lap.
This is a pretty critical show because coming out of week 1, you have a lot of knee-jerk reactions. Now, there are more players in this that I like in terms of buying low, but I really like all 6 of these guys on screen. The more underrated ones over here, they got a little more to prove. They could take a little longer to bounce back or get to where we thought maybe they would be. And these are the big dogs over here. The 3 best buy low players walking into 2022 week 1 from a higher level perspective. And let's kick it off with Tyreek Hill at the top. This guy was a mid to late second round pick in early 2022 drafting, late 2022 drafting, walking into week 1. Mid second to late second round value. Week 1 doesn't change anything for every one of these guys. Even Damien Pierce, we'll get to him in a minute. Tyreek Hill, in my opinion, is going to be inconsistent. He was kind of that way at times in KC, right? Tua will be okay. He'll be okay because when Tyreek Hill steps up, Tua will look good. When Tyreek Hill doesn't step up to carry him, Tua will look okay, or mediocre, or below mediocre. But Tyreek Hill will get his, at least to the degree of the cost of entry right now, which might be, I would say he went from 15 to 20 overall before week 1 to probably 24 to 28 overall if we're talking and equating draft value, if drafting today, to previous value walking into week 1. Now, if you own one of these guys like Najee Harris that I'm completely worried about, Derrick Henry, who I think is going to drop off big time in 2022 at some point, if not already, but I think he'll have probably a bounce back week 2, I imagine. If he doesn't, then, you're going to be even more panicked and it's going to be hard to get rid of him. But right now, do you trade a Derrick Henry or a Najee Harris, who I think you need to trade right now off the back of the news that he could play week 2, and I don't know that we're going to see that play out. And even if it plays out, the guy's got a Liz Frank injury, which is an injury to this part of the foot here where it feels like this thing's separating. It's a career ender in some cases when it's a grade 3. He has a grade 1, but he just re-injured the grade 1 and he plans on playing on the grade 1, which according to my calculations means, yeah, that's going to maybe leave a mark. I'm trading Najee right now. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What I'm about to tell you will make it still break even for you. When you're wrong on a trade, when you're trying to get rid of somebody you're worried about, you want the trade to either be extremely in your favor because you're right and the worry was justified and you end up being right about the player busting or getting hurt. Or if you're wrong, you break even because you went and got a player you also like or players you also like. Go get rid of Najee Harris right now. Get Tyreek Hill. Get a Breece Hall thrown in. Get Tyreek Hill. Get a Kenneth Walker thrown in. Get Tyreek Hill. Get a Damien Pierce thrown in. The same thing can be said for Deebo Samuel, who people are judging coming out of week 1 when they played literally in a swimming pool, and people are judging this man who still had a rushing touchdown. He still did pretty decent considering, but people are scared of not only Deebo because the receiving work didn't feel locked in, but you're also worried if you're a doubter and not looking at the situation, that the team is in turmoil. Like, oh my God, you have Deebo's workload and you also have the team maybe in turmoil. So Deebo is a guy that I still feel has top 14 to 15 to 16 overall appeal, especially with Mitchell going down there. They will use him as a wide back a whole lot moving forward in ways I think are safe. I don't think they're running him up the gut. They have running backs to do that, up the A gap, up the B gap. This is, peripheral stuff, wide back stuff, not running back stuff, wide back stuff. Deebo's going to be used a lot. I get Deebo and Breece, Deebo and Kenneth Walker, Deebo, Damien Pierce, Deebo, and some kind of quarterback upgrade. Maybe you have a quarterback that isn't the best quarterback. You don't love him, and you could upgrade into Joe Burrow and get Deebo Samuel by giving away Najee and your lower ranked quarterback that is below Burrow. That's how I get rid of Najee. That's how I get Deebo. That's how I get Tyreek Hill. Both guys I feel are still second round grades in terms of fantasy value today, and both might have fallen to the bottom of round 2, at least Deebo bottom of round 2, maybe not into round 3 yet. If you equate to today draft value, if you drafted today, Tyreek Hill's probably top of round 3. Buy low right now. And brings us to Joe Burrow, who I just mentioned. I mean, look, Burrow looked fantastic at the very end of that game. In the fourth quarter, he did a lot of damage. He was poised. He led this team back to what should have been a victory, minus that kicking debacle. He did his job. He looked phenomenal. A lot of pressure. He was 7 for 10 with 2 INTs in the beginning of the game, and people came out saying he looked awful. He looked awful. He was 7 for 10. It was a horrible game on paper. It was a tough defense that teams aren't going to see until Watt comes back. So people are going to judge Joe Burrow when they see another team do pretty well against the Pittsburgh defense, because it will be different moving forward until Watt's back. Joe Burrow had an assignment that people won't understand if you didn't watch the game. Joe Burrow will rebound. Joe Burrow had 2 touchdowns that should have went to Jamar Chase that Jamar Chase didn't execute on. Jamar should have had 3 TDs, like 150 yards. He still had a great game. He still had a touchdown, but Joe Burrow could have had 2 touchdowns right there. Joe Burrow should have had 4 touchdowns. Yes, 4 INTs, but 4 touchdowns and like 400 yards. Go by Joe Burrow on this, whatever dip this is. We knew people were going to freak out about Breece Hall.
Smitty, what's going on with Breece Hall?
This was all expected, but we knew we'd also come out of week 1 where people would still react to it. He hasn't gotten a shot yet, and people are DMing me and texting me on my text line, should I get rid of Breece Hall? What do we do with Breece Hall? The assignment was to draft him and wait. If he was getting the full-time workload entering week 1, he'd be a 2nd round pick. He fell into the 4th and 5th round in most of the later drafting. Yes, early drafters took a gamble on 3rd to early 4th round value, and that didn't pan out to the degree we wanted. But most people that drafted later or close to later, they got him around 4 or 5. That package is in what we're looking at right here. And if you're not patient, you're going to get burned. This guy's a 4.39 running back. They drafted him to start. He's at a top 5 combine in recent combine history, and film that makes me feel like when I watch it, he's a generational potential running back. You can doubt him all you want. You can play the reactive game to week 1, which you already knew what time it was, but you're still reacting to it. Do what you want. I'm buying low. I'm holding if I have him. Breece Hall season will be upon us soon enough. Everything I just said about Breece Hall applied to Kenneth Walker. People freaking out when he's not even on the field. He had a hernia surgery. He's back quicker than anybody expected. He's gonna play week 2. If you want to own him, buy him now before week 2. Pete Carroll loves this guy. They're gonna run the ball a ton. He's a special talent. He's a tackle-breaking monster, and he's a space navigator like nobody you've seen in open space in a long time. And he's going to catch the football better than anybody expects. Go buy low on Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker before it's too late. This guy's got more doubt than he has upside at this moment to a lot of people, but I kind of feel like everyone's too quick to judge him. It's not like he failed. He got 9 carries. That is a problem, and it's got to be remedied or he can't produce. I get it. That is a problem, but it's not like he failed. People say he looked bad. He's garbage. He's a trash can. He didn't fail. He didn't get a chance. He looked so good in the preseason. I know they love him in Houston. They just didn't. The game script was even positive. People said, oh, the Texans are going to be down. They weren't. The Texans, like I predicted, will hang with any team on any given Sunday, and I think they start using this kid more, and I think now's the time to buy low. And you can do some kind of like Brandon Cooks or a wide receiver 3, a very optimal high-scoring wide receiver 3 for Damien Pierce, straight up 1-for-1 right now. You can get Damien Pierce thrown into deals like I mentioned earlier. When you go trade away Najee, you get a big name player and you get one of these guys thrown in. These are my top 6 go-get players. There's more. Buy low on Alvin Kamara, but you said avoid him all offseason. I did, Bob, but for good reason. Draft capital, Bob. Draft capital. Everything is about draft capital. His owner's now worried about the rib injury, worried about the off-the-field problems as well, as they should have been on draft day. But now they're like, I don't know what to expect out of Alvin Kamara. Maybe I'll trade him like the player he should have been drafted top of round 3 or bottom of round 2. Now you can strike and get Alvin Kamara at that exact value. Now you can trade overperforming players 2-for-1 to get Alvin Kamara. The risk hasn't gone anywhere. He could definitely be taken from us mid-season if the full video leaks. Know that. The Ray Rice video leak, the Kareem Hunt video leak, these things have a tendency of getting out. But if you can buy low and package in what was acceptable back when we thought he could miss 4 to 6 games, 3 to 4 games, 5 games, 3rd round equivalent value, we liked it. One bad game, 1 week overreaction, week 1. Now we can go in, swoop in,
and
get Alvin and get him at what is equating to third round value. Top of round 3. Kareem Hunt's looking pretty good as a sell high, and maybe you sell Kareem Hunt for Alvin Kamara. Adding in something else, of course, maybe a Waddle, a Miles Sanders, a J-Rob, combinations of all these players that did pretty well that people are overvaluing right now. And don't tell me, Smitty, no one's making these trades. No one's making trades like this in my league. There's a reason I go over psychology and fantasy football. Order of questioning, how you approach a trade. Some of you are going straight for the trade.
Hey Bob, give me Alvin Kamara.
Now Bob's like, whoa. What did you hear? Let me go look around. Maybe I don't want Kamara to leave my team now. I was thinking about it until I got this text from Bob that says,
give me Kamara.
Can I have Kamara? What do you want for Kamara? That is the worst way to approach a trade. You might as well tape your offer on a piece of paper and put it on your forehead and walk right into a trade negotiation. Do you negotiate with somebody about a price on something and pull your wallet out with all the $20 bills sitting there and your wad of cash right there on the table and say, how much is it? Don't telegraph what you're doing, Bob. Some of you that can't get trades done, like
I can't trade Najee away, Smitty, for this
Deebo and ETN that you talk about.
Smitty,
I can't get Javonte for Najee Harris right now. Maybe you're right. I would say 50% of my people are getting these deals done. I know because they tell me. I'm getting emails, I'm getting comments, I'm getting DMs, I'm getting texts on my one-on-one text advice on thefantasyfootballshow.com. 50% of my people are able to get rid of Najee at value that they won't be mad about if Najee ends up playing 17 games and works out and this injury is a nothing burger. They got value that is equal to that. If Najee works out, then it's even. Both sides of the trade win. If Najee doesn't work out, Najee's injury lingers into the season and he's out for the year or something, we're preemptively trying to get a jump on this with Najee. That's why I'm recommending you trade away Najee right now. 50% of my people are getting it done through good deals that make them right even when they're wrong. If Najee ends up working out, they're still right. Everybody wins. If Najee doesn't work out, they win. Either way, they win. 50% of my people are doing it right. The other 25, you're probably in leagues that people just don't trade. I can't really help with that. The other 25 that are telling me deals can't get done, it's because of your approach. I'm here to help you with it, but you need to not telegraph what you're doing. You go in, you don't try and steamroll them, and you say, hey, you want to make a trade? I'm bored, Bob. What'd you have in mind? I don't know. What do you got? Let him come to you. Poke around at his best player that's not the player you want. Inquire, get rejected. Make him in his mind say, no, this is my best player. I won't trade that player. Poke around at another player. Make him say no. Or maybe you get a deal done you didn't expect to get done. But he says no. Again, that's my second best player, Smitty. Psychologically, now he's ranking this player you're inquiring about lower than those guys. He's not my best player. In my mind, I'm locking it in. He's not my best player. Okay, well, who else do you have? Make him say the words.
Well, I got Alvin Kamara.
He's got a rib injury. No, bro, he's fine. Make him defend Alvin Kamara. Make him sell him to you. He wants to prove to you that he does have good players to come get. I'm not saying it works in every scenario, but the 25% of the 100 that are saying, Smitty, these trades just aren't happening in my league. Look at your approach. Look at your approach. Don't tell me they're not happening. 50% of my people are getting them done. Alvin Kamara is attainable at a dirt cheap seller dweller price tag, and I'm seeing it get done. Christian McCaffrey. People are worried. People that spent top 5 value are giving up Christian McCaffrey right now at value even I'm going to go get. I don't draft McCaffrey. I don't draft Henry. I don't draft Kamara, but I will trade for them after you drive the car off the lot and knock about $5,000 off the total. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, 2 very good go-get players that are big names right now. The same kind of deals that could land Kamara can land CMC. You're trading your Nick Chubb or your Kareem Hunt. You're trading a Nick Chubb and a wide receiver that popped off. You're trading a Nick Chubb and another player that popped off. You find some poor sap that's got Kyle Pitts and you buy low on Kyle Pitts. You might even find somebody that's got CMC and Kyle Pitts. Maybe you're sending Kelsey for Kyle Pitts and Alvin Kamara, and you throw in someone that maybe did well like James Robinson, and people are making deals like that all day long. I see it all day long. I know people that don't get to see it are like, I haven't seen it. If a tree doesn't fall, Smitty, did it really fall? It did. I assure you I heard it. And you got to poke around and offer enough trades to get a deal. Accept it, because it only takes one owner to accept a trade. And if you tell me these deals Won't happen in the comments. I'm going to ask you, have you ever done a deal, Bob? Have you ever done a deal that you instantly regret after you accept it? The answer is yes, you have done that. We've all punched the button on a trade and we regretted it. The moment we did it, we take it back 5 minutes later. We do anything to take it back 5 minutes later. So don't sit here and tell me that it can't be done. Go out there and do the work. Buy low before week 2. On everybody I talked about, adding in Kyle Pitts, adding in Christian McCaffrey. Yes, I said it because you're buying low. Adding in Alvin Kamara. And probably, it's funny, almost ended the video without adding probably my favorite buy low right now, Austin Ekeler. I'm not worried about Austin Ekeler, not at low first round or top of second round value. And don't tell me he can't be. I'm tired of having this conversation, this one-way conversation with you, Bob. I'm seeing people steal him away at similar packages that I talked to you about. And in those weird cases where you've got Kelsey and they've got Kyle Pitts and you can get 2 for 1, people do it. It's weird. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. People freak out after week 1 so badly. It's buy low season for the first couple weeks of the NFL season. It just is. In fantasy football, it's buy low season, weeks 1 through 4, sometimes weeks 1 through 5. As much as I love Stephon Diggs, you can trade Diggs for an Ekeler. You can trade Leonard Fournette and a Gabe Davis or somebody. I like Gabe Davis, but you could trade 2 of those guys for an Austin Ekeler right now. I see it happen every single minute. Ekeler, Kyle Pitts, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, the original 6 I talked about at the top of the video. Go get them. Go buy low. Get it done. And don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get your one-on-one on-demand text advice, bold predictions, rankings, trade calculator, articles, all that good stuff. And be sure to get on over to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Smitty to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Don't let your season rely upon the players you drafted in regular fantasy football drafts. Add some of these props to your fantasy football and NFL viewing goodness where you can do these 5-time multipliers, put like $10 down to win 200 by picking 5 overs or 2 unders and 3 overs. There's nothing more fun than doing these props in addition to your fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy, link in description, use promo code Smitty. That link down there will link your promo code automatically, get you a match up to $100. Go do it. Don't forget I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm live whenever there's breaking news.
Hey, get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.